A lot of recreational players play a lot of doubles, and a lot of them play doubles exclusively. Yet the vast majority of videos on YouTube are about singles, and especially when it comes to drills. And yeah, if you then want to do those drills, you can, for instance, go and ask your coach to do those drills with you. And then it already becomes a little harder, for instance, if you want to find somebody who you can do these drills with, just a hitting partner, and they kind of have to be on the same page with you. They want to work on the same things. So that makes it tougher. What do you do if you don't have a coach, or you can find anybody to hit with you? You can use the ball machine. And I do have a video about singles drills for the ball machine. But what if you are one of those doubles players? How do you work on something that is very specific to doubles? You don't have a coach nor a hitting partner, because then you need 3 people to hit with you to be on the same page. What do you do then? Many coaches, many players don't want to waste lesson time, hitting time to do double specific drills. So that then leaves you the ball machine. But you're in luck, because in this video, I'm going to show you 5 drills that work on skills that are essential for doubles. And you can do them all on a ball machine. First drill, defense from the baseline. You are at the baseline, your partner is up at net, and you're facing 2 people up at net. The number one thing that you don't want to do is give them any high balls. So you're trying to work the middle, and you're trying to work the middle low. You do want to set the machine in a way that does pressure you. So for instance, you can increase the frequency or the pace of the ball, of course. This is a great target when there's 2 net players at net, because if you're bringing the ball down to their feet in the middle, they neither have angles nor can they attack a higher ball. And that will give you a better chance on a second ball. Hopefully they pop a ball up. Maybe your net player can actually already intercept that. Or again, you have an easier time on the second ball to attack the court a little bit more. Once you're getting comfortable working the middle over the center strap and you've drawn your opponents in, then you can throw in a lob, because they had to close, Now the area behind them is wide open. The next drill is a defensive volley drill. So the situation is that I'm the net player, my partner is back behind me at the baseline, and my opposite baseline player is about to tee off on me. So that most likely happens, for instance, on a weaker second serve that my partner hits because it's short. My opponent can attack that, or just a weaker ball that sits somewhere in midcourt. So I need to be ready. I'm defending my life here. All I'm working on is keeping my racket out in front of me, just blocking these balls. And I'm going back to my opposite baseline player, because if I'm under attack here, I'm probably not going to be able to hit a very aggressive volley either to my opponent's net player's feet or even through the middle. That I can work on if I have a little bit more control over the ball. But my number one goal is keeping the ball in play and giving them another chance to mess it up. Obviously, you want to set the machine so that it doesn't kill you. So maybe start a little slower, and if it's too easy, then you crank up either the frequency or the pace, or both. Let's get to poaching. And I consider this drill a little bit more as a way to ingrain the way that you have to move and where you want to hit the balls when you poach, rather than knowing when to poach, because obviously with a ball machine, you're not getting the cues that you need to identify a ball that you can poach on. But really quickly, when is a good time to poach? And that is maybe something that you can study watching yourself play, taping yourself, and identifying the times when your partner's ball compromises your opposite baseline player. So for instance, if your partner hits a really good deep ball and your opposite baseline player falls backwards, that's not going to be an aggressive ball. They're probably going to pop it up a little higher, a little slower. That's a good time. When I'm being stretched out wide and I'm just kind of somewhere defending here, when I'm being stretched out forward. Those are the things that you want to look at to be able to poach, and it is the balls that your partner hits that enable you to poach. In short, when their balance is compromised, it's a good time to poach. When you then poach, you want to make sure that you're moving forward towards the ball, so you're cutting that angle off, because so many times players identify the right ball only to then move sideways, and they're not going to get anything on the ball. Reading the ball, moving diagonally forward, and you want to place the ball into the direction that you're moving. So just imagine that this is my opposite net player. Again, on the poach, I'm going either directly between them or I'm going right at them. I'm trying to go to their feet, by the way. What I wouldn't necessarily recommend when you poach is to volley the ball behind you. Because if you're not putting that ball away, your body weight is pulling you into this direction. They have the line wide open, and your partner behind you probably is not going to have the time to react to cover that. So feet or middle. Quick little tip for the backhand poach for recreational players. Make sure that as you're moving diagonally up to the ball, you're also ever so slightly turning your upper body so that your racket face is actually pointing into the direction that you want to hit the ball. Because if you're just stabbing forward like this, you play the ball behind yourself. Next drill, transition volley. You just hit an approach shot, you're coming in and you're getting your first volley. Most likely you're getting it around the service line. Ideal obviously is if you manage to come inside the service line. You want to set your machine so that it alternates, giving you a higher, slightly slower ball and a faster, lower ball that goes right to your feet. And depending on what kind of ball you're getting, you need to make a decision. If you get a higher ball that you can move up on, you're trying to get it as high above net line as possible, you want to go to the opposite net player, because the distance between us is so short that if I can get the ball to them, they have very little reaction time. However, if it's a lower ball that's fast and I have to lift it and I'm pretty defensive here, I don't want to go to my opposite net player because I lift the ball, they now have a higher ball and attack me. So I want to go back to the deeper position person. Make sure that you recover well behind the service line after each ball to make it realistic that you're having to move up to the ball, lower yourself, and or burst forward on a higher volley. Last drill, and you knew it, overheads. Ideally, you want to set your machine so that it gives you a variation of overheads in terms of depth, because again, you want to work on making the right decision. When you get an overhead and you're under it, you're set, you're balanced, clobber it. That's the time when you want to try to finish the point. And a good target, I hate to say that, is the opposite net player. If the opposite net player does not read this, and you're pancake eyes because you're about to tee off on them, and they don't move back, and they then get hit, that's a little bit on them, to be perfectly honest, because you literally gave them all the cues that told them you're about to get smashed. When it's a deeper overhead and you have to move a whole lot, you're a little off balance, go back to the deeper position person. Because you're probably not going to get a whole lot on the ball. The ball's a little slower. You might even pop it up, which again gives your opposite net player the opportunity to cross. So if you're in trouble, always go back to the deeper position person on the court. And it doesn't matter whether they're cross court, down the line, wherever they are, give yourself time to recover. You now want to learn how to use the skills that you just worked on in these drills in your role as a doubles net player. Check out this video.